on. And first series is barely wrapped up besides Guardians Mariners Sunday Night Baseball. First time on NBC too in a very long time. The broadcast has been great so far, by the way, with those games. But it's very exciting. I love being able to watch the vets again every single day, have something to look forward to when I get home from work, watch the game, and obviously watch other baseball games too in the league, see the pitching matchups throughout the day, who some guys, especially early on in the year, like opening day is kind of overwhelming sense of like, that's when all the pitchers are good. All the studs are starting that day. So it's like you can't even watch them all at once. I know there's going to be a big inning, but you can't get every single game. But just very excited that baseball is back at this moment right now. And we have baseball every single day now.
Yeah, speaking of tonight's game, right now, with currently in the middle of the sixth game between the Cleveland Guardians and the Seattle Mariners. Mariners are just taking care of business. It's 6-0 right now. They got Donovan, Cal Raleigh, and Julio Rodriguez coming up, so definitely tune into that game. Emerson Hancock, dude, 9 strikeouts through 6 innings tonight for the Mariners.
I mean, I thought that dude was not even that good. Like, I thought the Mariners needed someone else and have Hancock as depth. He looked great tonight. Just the way I know he doesn't throw that hard. He's throwing 93, 94, but his breaking balls looked amazing so far. This is the best I've personally seen him while watching him.
Yeah, good for the Mariners if they found something with Hancock, because I've had him in Dynasty, and he's a guy that was droppable but now addable again. I'm really excited to see him pitch, and I hope he definitely continues his ways because the Mariners could sure use it with Bryce Miller dealing with elbow. I forgot something going on with his elbow though. I don't know where he's at with his decision making, but Mariners could definitely use him. But let's jump into it, dude. We had just looking back at the first 3 games of the season for all these guys and all these teams, dude, we got to start and talk about Chase DeLauter in the first, 3 games. He has been impressive to say the least. The Guardians outfielder, Hagen, have you gotten to see any of his bombs yet?
Yeah, there was one last night. I believe it was last night's game. It was a pitch up and away that he took Oppo. And just if you just like freeze frame it on where at the point of contact, where his feet are and just the angle that he's at and how hard he hit the ball and still able to get out of the ballpark, it's freak shit. Like, this guy is a freak. He's had, I believe it was his first home run, just pulled his hands through a very inside pitch. It's like he's able to just at very awkward looking movements in the body and still hit bombs. I mean, it's awesome watching this guy play. The only issue he's been is just health.
Yeah, he definitely health has been a factor in his coming up. Chase DeLauter, he's another guy. He's only 24 years old, and I feel like I've had him forever in multiple dynasty leagues, just from the potential I've heard about him all the way dating back to even 2020, dude, when he was back at James Madison, when he had a 382 batting average as an 18-year-old in college. He is a monster. His minor league careers, his batting average is a 302 through all levels, and that includes 583 plate appearances over 138 games. So obviously the health is the main factor in DeLauter, but he looks to be a dog and going to be very, very good for the Cleveland Guardians whenever he's on the field.
I mean, even too, if you just want to take the 3 games he's done so far, he leads MLB in home runs right now with 4. And he's one of 3 players to accumulate at least half WAR, joining Shea Langoliers and Mike Trout.
Dude, Trout had a nice weekend. We should probably talk about him before we talk about the other prospects, honestly, because Trout for the Angels, he looked like he was back in form.
I mean, he kind of did. I mean, it looks like vintage Mike Trout when he was the best player in baseball. I mean, even opening night, 3 walks, a home run onto the train tracks, stole a base too. He came out after he had an interview and he said, "I feel like my old self again. I feel like just my kid self again. I'm playing center field." He said that's where he feels comfortable. There's a reason why. Like Mike Trout with the Angels, if he tells him he wants to play a position, he plays that position. If they want him to say, "We want you to DH," and say, "I want to play center field," he's going to play center field. Obviously, yes, you need to stay on the field. He's not going to play center field every single day. He needs to take a few days off, whatever. But, I mean, this guy looks like prime Mike Trout again, just hoping he can stay healthy. I mean, his bat speed, I think he had the 3rd hardest swing of the day today. And this guy, I know he's always been like freak power. Like Trout's obviously his career, I feel like later, the last few years, even when it hasn't been as good and he hasn't been on the field as much, he's almost turned more into like a home run hitter. Like he's just been like last year hit like 230, but he was still a 125, 130 WRC plus bat. Like if Mike Trout's healthy, he's hitting 40 home runs in a season.
And dude, yeah, he's like almost two dotting on the OPS line right now. And I saw he's hitting like 596. I know it's a very small sample size, but it's insane what he's doing right now. He's like 5 for 9 on at the plate. Um, let's talk about some of these prospects though, because there was so many guys who had fantastic weeks or for fantastic opening day series. So let's talk about your boy. Let's talk about Carson Bench. Start with the Mets.
Yeah, Carson Bench, I believe he's top 15 prospect in all of baseball, the third or fourth ranked outfield prospect, and he earned that right field spot. It wasn't like the Mets said, "Oh crap, Mike Tauchman got hurt, so he has to play." I think no matter what, Carson Bench was going to make the roster. I just think Mike Tauchman would have made the roster over Jared Young with before his knee injury. But I mean, Carson Bench, I mean, this kid earned the everyday right field role, and he's going to have that for a very long time. I mean, there's not really anybody really that's until Mike Tauchman's back in 6 weeks that's going to be able to push him, I guess, and try to take the role away from him. So it's going to be his. And obviously, when you're a rookie, you can't just expect these kids to come up and just have an 850 OPS right away, especially a Carson Bench guy. He does everything well. It's like he's not known for being this crazy slugger, but he's known for being a very good hitter. He can hit 15, 20 home runs a year. He can hit 260, 270, whatever it needs to be. But I mean, he looked really good. The first game of the year facing Skeens, that's a tough ask. And the first two at bats he had against him, he looked overmatched. He looked just like he almost didn't belong in a way, but it's also the second best pitcher on the face of the earth right now in Paul Skeens. But once he got to the bullpen, obviously he looked a lot better. I mean, his at bats been really good, even when he hasn't gotten the result he wanted to, even in like the strikeouts that he's had. It's not like he's just going 1, 2, 3. Like he's had a few at bats that have been strikeouts where it's 7, 8 pitch at bats, and he's fighting off pitches. If he's getting a pitch and he's not pitched to hit, he's fighting off and he's spoiling it. I've really been impressed with the bats he's had so far. Obviously, a home run in his debut, which was really cool to see. I mean, it's really awesome. I mean, Mets fans for a while now, we've wanted to see Carson Bench and what he can do. And I think it's really good that they also have him in right field because middle of the offseason, it seemed like he was going to be the center fielder until they traded for Luis Robert. But I'm really glad they can get him in right field and kind of take a little bit of nerves off him because I think it's a little bit different too. Of hey man, you're 23 years old, you're the opening day center fielder for the New York Mets, and you're going to be there for 162. I think it's a little might be a little too much for a guy, but if anyone's be able to take someone like that, it's Carson Bench because he's a very stoic guy. I mean, a lot of people, the veterans and manager Carlos Mendoza even said, it's like this guy feels like a big leaguer. He doesn't act like a kid. He's very stoic with the way he is, and he just goes about his business, very even headed, and he just acts like he should be there, which he should be.
Yeah, Benj, I think, is going to be a thorn in a lot of team sides in the NL East because he's like the batter you don't think about when you think about the Mets. It's like, oh, we got to deal with Juan Soto, we got to deal with Lindor, we got to deal with, you know, X, Y, and Z throughout the lineup. Luis Robert Jr. if he's on a tear, who knows? Point being, though, I think the Mets struck gold here. I think he's going to be a really good player. Um, let's talk about JJ Weatherholt. I am super excited about him. I have him in multiple fantasy leagues. He's currently ranked 25th overall in fantasy. He's got scored 2 runs. He's hit a bomb. He's had 4 RBIs, stolen base, and he's hitting 333 through his first 3 games. Weatherholt was the 7th overall pick, I believe, out of West Virginia a few years ago. A lot of people at the time said he could have been the #1 overall pick. So really excited to see that, obviously he's got an impressive hit tool and he's playing a lot, second base. I think the middle of that infield for the St. Louis Cardinals is between him and Mason Wynn. I know Mason Wynn didn't perform as stellar as people would have liked this week, but I think they have a lot to be happy about St. Louis and building that, core from the inside out.
I mean, yeah, obviously the Cardinals will have had that core, you can say, in the last couple of years. You can say the Arenado Goldschmidt, but we all knew like Arenado technically was part of the core, but like Arenado wasn't Arenado. It wasn't the 2022 Goldschmidt Arenado when they both got MVP votes. They're older now, and obviously Goldschmidt left, and Arenado wasn't really. He was the worst version that we've seen from Arenado so far in his big league career. So I think you're going to have this true core up the middle too. That you have Wynn and Weatherhole here, and you can look at those guys and say this could be our middle infield for the next 10 years if you extend these guys. This could be the middle infield you look at for 10 years and be one of the best in all Major League Baseball. And I mean, Weatherholt's look great leading off for him too. I love to see that. Just throw him in the leadoff hole opening day. That's awesome to see that out there. Also, too, obviously, he hit the home run, like you said, too. He's been playing really well. Walk-off single, too, in a second career game. It's been awesome to see him in the big league level so far.
Yeah. Let's talk about Murakami. So Murakami had a bomb, his MLB debut. He's had 3 bombs since. This is incredible, Hagen. 3 bombs in 3 games for Munetaka Murakami, who everyone like questioned the White Sox and what a steal of a deal they got for him. I know it's a short sample size, but it's a really good sample.
I mean, yeah, he's been crushing the ball. I mean, obviously, like savant pages don't really mean much really into the season, 3 games in, because it's just the sample size is 10 at bats, whatever it is. But his is full of red. The only thing that's blue on there is what everyone expect there to be is the whiff. But he might be that guy. I mean, obviously the 3 bombs, and he's hitting the ball very well right now. And obviously, I think the only thing, I think it's what like a lot of the GMs and president baseball operations saw in him is they just like, we can't give this guy $100 million because of the whiff issues. We don't know how he's going to translate here, but he might be the guy where he can whiff 40% of the time, 30% of the time, just an absurd number. But still, when he connects, hit enough balls hard and home runs and doubles and slug enough where it kind of outweighs it. I mean, it's kind of a hard archetype because if you compare him to guys, it's like the Joey Gallo type where it's if you don't hit 30 home runs, 40 home runs, you're not going to end up being a very good player. Like you need to hit the home runs, you need to get the power from him because you're going to whiff so much, you're going to strike out a ton. But he might be the guy. I don't want to overreact here over 3 games or anything. Let's see this in August and what he's looking like. But
Yeah.
he could buck the trend and say, hey, I can whiff this much and still be a very valuable player in Major League Baseball.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk about Roman Anthony because Roman Anthony had his ups and downs this week, but he, obviously got a lot of playing time last year, but he got injured, and everyone was super excited for him this year, as am I. He looks like a very talented ball player, hitting 444 through his first 3 games. That being said, he had a flunker of an arm throw. If you saw that play, people were expecting the arm to be there, and I don't know if it won't be. I don't know. Do you think that was just a bad play, or do you think that like his arm strength might not be what people thought it was?
I think it might have just been a bad play. I mean, it didn't look good. I think it bounced probably 7 times on the way to home plate, which honestly kind of funny that there's major leaguers that are still doing that. But I don't really overreact to that at all. I mean, I think Roman Anthony's defense is still a very above average in Major League Baseball. His arm, he's also young too. Like you're telling me this guy can't get stronger. I mean, just look at his body. Just look at how big he is. I mean, he looks like a baseball player. He's put on arm strength too if he needs it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk about Kevin McGonigal transferred over to the Detroit Tigers because Kevin McGonigal has been sitting behind Connor Griffin as like the number one, number two, given the media outlet putting out these rankings. But McGonigal was the number 2 overall prospect for I think that was MLB Pipeline, and he's hitting 417. He's one dotting right now, very impressive. This guy, you think he fits in naturally with this Detroit lineup, so. Uh, Another stud. Like it's right now the MLB is flush with prospect talent. That's for sure. Like I know this is just like starting weekend, but these guys are all high pedigree guys we're talking about that are just flourishing, like starting to flourish. So, what are your thoughts on McGonigal?
I mean, I love to see what he's done so far. Like I said too, I mean, we have so much young talent right now. It feels like this is like the most like rookie impact I've seen, at least I can remember recently on just the first series of the year of like these high rookies that come up and make the rosters. And I feel like normally you see them struggle a little bit for early on, but like these guys were making immediate impacts. You could say the last 3 or 4 guys we talked about, you could say they're the best hitters in the team for the first series of the year. You can make the argument for some guys. But I mean, McGonigal, I really liked. I think he was the best hitter. Like we talk about how good Connor Griffin is, and he was pretty much the sure doubt number 1 overall prospect. Kevin McGonigal was a better hitter than him. Kevin McGonigal was the best hitter in all of minor league baseball. Every outlet pretty much says the same thing there. You knew Kevin McGonigal was going to transfer and hit in the big leagues. Like, I don't think he's someone, yes, you might have the rookie swoon, whatever, you hit June, July, August, and have a rough patch, whatever. That's just baseball, too, though. You're not going to be able to just sustain this for the whole season, but he's always going to be able to hit. The thing for him just going to be the defense. And I do like to see him. Obviously, so far in the 3 games, he's had games at third base and second base, or sorry, third base and shortstop. So I think it's a very Detroit thing too. We know AJ Hinch loves his matchups and finding to get guys in the lineup certain ways. Matchups very dependent there. So he's going to play a little bit all over the place, which is I kind of like that. I know some people just say, "Hey, he's a rookie. Just let him sit in one spot. Let him just trend in there." But AJ Hinch knows what he's doing. He's one of the best managers in all of Major League Baseball. He knows his guys very well, and I think he knows Kevin McGonigal, and I think he's almost trying to challenge him a little bit in a way.
Dude, that's a spot on take. I really like that. McGonigal there. I didn't get to watch any of the Detroit baseball this weekend, so I didn't really see a lot of McGonigal. But Obviously, I'm super excited to watch him. I don't really have him rostered anywhere. I might try and make some early trades out there in the fantasy world, but who knows? Last prospect I want to talk about today before we move on. Let's talk about Owen Casey. Owen Casey was a super talented, big hit tool outfielder from the Cubs that was included in the Edward Cabrera deal to the Miami Marlins. Casey right now is hitting 500 with a 1.25 OPS through his first 3 games, including he had a big home run versus Colorado. Um, Dude, Casey looks like he has an electric bat.
Yeah, I mean, this kid could be very, very special. I think it's you look at what the Marlins have kind of targeted over the years since Peter Bendix has taken over. A lot of my friends say that he's Kyle Stowers 2.0. Like if you just look at the type of player he is, what he does as an outfielder too, and you just kind of put a side by side in the swings, he looks like a baby Kyle Stowers in essence. It's kind of cool to see. And the walk-off home run today was electric too, especially in the teal uniforms, some of the best uniforms in all Major League Baseball. And Jack McMullen too, killed it on the radio too. Awesome call that he had over there. But Casey is going to be a guy. I think it's going to be in this Miami Marlins outfield for a very long time.
Yeah, I think Peter Bendix did it again. Sold right on a pitcher. And that's not to say Edward Cabrera can't have a great season, but I think that he looks at it like I have arms at my disposal right now. I'm gonna go out and get me some outfield talent for the long haul. Let's move on though. Um, Probably the biggest MLB news that was not around the prospects this opening weekend, outside of a couple extensions, it's got to be Jackson Churio and the Milwaukee Brewers. I was confused about this news right away. Like, why were they waiting until right before opening day to announce that he was going to be out on the IL for a hand fracture? So he's out for 2 to 4 weeks to start the season. My bet is they don't want this re-aggravating throughout the entire season because of the potential he has. And even if he misses a full month, I still think this guy can go 30 for 30 this year. Not 30 for 30, 30 30 this year. Jackson Churio is a special talent. But this is huge. What do you think? Do you think this really sets Milwaukee back to start the season?
No, I don't really think so. Just I think Milwaukee's pitching, their bullpen is really one of the best in all Major League Baseball, probably the best besides the Padres, which is just insane in the first place. And they have good starting pitching. I know like a guy like Brandon Sproat that had a very bad outing today, but that pitching staff's still very, very good. I mean, there's times before where they have very good Major League starters who just have to sit in AAA at times just because they don't have roster spots for him. But I think the Brewers will be fine without him. Obviously, it sucks to miss Jackson Chorio, especially this early on. But I think, like you said too, especially with a hand injury, you'll see some guys come back, especially like the hamate bones, like a guy like Carroll, Lindor, Jackson Holiday. Like these guys who broke their hamate bones. It takes a little bit of time for that power to come back too. So like you can't be shocked if at the end of the year Lindor has 20 home runs or Carroll is 10 home runs less than you expect him to be, because the power, it takes a while for that to get back in there. And two, especially like you're breaking a hand in your bone, you break a bone in your hand, you're swinging a bat every single day, hundreds of times. I mean, BP, the games, whatever it is, you're going to re-aggravate stuff. So I think the Brewers are probably just, like you said, just trying to not let that happen and just saying, hey, let's make sure you're 100% good. Let's not try to rush you back by any means. It's still early in the season. It's not like this, hey, this is a playoff push. Every single game matters now. I know every game matters now, yes, but this isn't September right now where you have to win. It's must win.
Yeah, absolutely. And Amazon's about to deliver a package outside my house, so expect my dog to go absolutely nuts right now. So two quick updates while we have this interruption probably from the dog. One, I was down 8-4 in a roto league and head-to-head categories league. We live streamed Emerson Hancock, got him on his stream start today, and it brought us back to a 6-6 tie in this head-to-head. And now Julio Rodriguez could go on and win it for us. So love that. But I want you to take us through the two Chicago extensions, and that's Nico Horner and PCA. Go.
Yeah, I mean, two great moves by the Cubs there and keeping their guys in here. PCA, I think a lot of people saw PCA extension happening after last year too, his breakout. I think, yes, he kind of was choking down the stretch there, and he just wasn't really a great ball player. He was still playing phenomenal defense, platinum glove level defense, yes, but with the bat, he was whiffing a lot and he was chasing a lot. And that's the thing I think he needs to improve more than anything else in his game right now. But I think a lot of people forget. A lot of people like to joke with PCA. People forget, like at the All-Star break last year, it was Shohei Ohtani. Like the MVP race was Shohei Ohtani, and the only one like giving him a real run for his money at the All-Star break was PCA. Like it was like if you ended there, you could make the argument that PCA was the MVP because Otani really wasn't pitching at the time. That's how good he was playing. He was playing some of the best defense in all Major League Baseball. It was absolutely raking at the time too. So this is awesome to see the Cubs get him extended there. I think you got 3 free agent years out of it. You buy out from him there. So it's great to see him there. He wants to be in Chicago. He loves Chicago. And the next one too, Nico Horner, who was honestly would have been one of the biggest free agents in all of next year's class. It probably would have been Jazz Chisholm and Nico Horner. Probably, I mean, two of the best second basemen in all Major League Baseball. But I think just like the casual fan, I think they see Nico Horner gets an extension for $141 million for 6 years. I think like the casual fan would look at that and say, he got that much money. So I think people who like love baseball and they follow baseball a lot, they know how good Nico Horner is. They know he's a top 25 whatever player in Major League Baseball, but they just kind of say he's a 110, 115 WRC plus bat. Like he's getting that much money. But I mean, you got to factor in too. I mean, with the Cubs, would you keep him? Like you send PCA. You have Dan Duquesne, one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball. Nico Horner, one of the best, if not the best, second baseman defensively in all Major League Baseball. And then you have, I mean, your middle defense up the middle is just insane right now, and it's going to be like that for a very long time. Keeping Nico Horner was huge for them too, especially because their books. If you look at the Cubs too, like people can say, "Oh, they're the Cubs. They haven't really spent money in the past years," and I'm one of those guys to say that. But if you just go look at their payroll page, like they have so many people coming off the books. I mean, last I checked, it was like 10 free agents, 10 guys on the roster are going to be free agents coming off next year. So they had the money to spend, and I'm glad to see the Cubs do this early and get it done now. I mean, it's better now than have to wait and go through free agency and you have to stress about this and getting a bidding war with another team. I think just, hey, give him the money. You needed him. He wants to be there. Great deal for him.
Dude, I love this for the Cubs. This is, and somewhat it's not, I don't want to use the word aggressive, but you know what I mean? Like getting both these deals done, getting them done right away. The Cubs don't typically do these bigger deals or extensions, and they got not one, but two of them done, like right to open the season, didn't let them linger. Nico Horner, I don't know if I agree with you that he's a top 25 guy in the league, but 2 Gold Gloves, MVP 19 finish last year. He's also, in the last 4 years, his least amount of WAR in a season is 3.7. Then he goes 4.2, 5.5, and 6.2. So the guy's a dog. He definitely deserves the contract for anyone who's not, but questioning that. But yeah, good for them. Good for them. And PCA, like you said, like he's a baseball rat. He wants to be good. He's how old? 24?
I believe 24, yes.
Yeah, good for him securing that type of money. What are we talking? 9 figures before he's age 25 in life. He's a winner. I'll tell you that. Let's talk about Toronto and Dylan Cease because he was hot off the mound. He had 12 strikeouts in his debut. 7 in a row at one point, and it was the record setting for the Blue Jays, organization as a debut game. So, dude, what do we think? Did Toronto? I know it's early, but adding Dylan Cease to the fold may pay a lot of dividends for Toronto this season.
I mean, there's a reason why Dylan Cease was the only pitcher to get $200 million this offseason and get that bag. I mean, people can say, "Oh, he had a 4 ERA." We did this. There's 2 things about Dylan Cease. He's always going to have great stuff. He's always been a very stuffed pitcher. The ERA's not always been there. Yes, he's had the Cy Young years, but the thing is, he's going to have great stuff. He's going to be 200 strikeouts every year. He's going to be 180 innings every year. Just go and look at his baseball reference page. Just look at his innings and his strikeouts per every single year. People forget, like, innings is such a valuable thing in Major League Baseball nowadays. It doesn't only saves the other pitching staff, it saves the bullpen. It's very valuable too. Like, just you need a pitcher to go out there in 180 innings. I talk about it all the time. Like, I love my inning leaders. Guys who give me a 4.2 ERA and throw 150 innings. I have a very soft place in my heart for those guys. Dylan Cease is that with ace level stuff. I mean, this guy has Cy Young level stuff. I'm not obviously has Tarek Skubal in his division. I'm not saying he's going to win the Cy Young, but this guy has the stuff to win a Cy Young. He worked on his changeup a little bit too, and he's going to be throwing it a little bit more this year. Looked, I think, to a 15% the other day, and it looks really, really good. It's the best changeup he's had. It's got some more velocity to it. I think it's up 3 miles per hour from before to 83, 84 miles an hour right now too. I mean, even too, like I was just kind of looking at through baseball Spot game feed the other day. And I was just kind of looking at, all right, who's been the top exit velocities today? Who's the most whiff leaders? And I looked and I saw he had 24 whiffs. I was like, that is insane. I feel like you got like 12, 15 whiffs. Like if a guy gets 15 whiffs, I'm like, you had pretty good outing today. Your stuff looked really good today. 24 whiffs is pretty absurd. I mean, not very often you see guys get, it's not every day you see guys get 24 whiffs. And I believe that's the most by at least 5 so far throughout the season of any guy to start so far. So his stuff showed up and it showed why he's worth $200 million. You're on mute still.
Sorry, he's gonna be a problem in the American League East this year for sure. Um, let's talk about we talked about McGonagall already, so sorry I wrote that in twice. Let's jump to some of the injuries and news from this week. So Strider's heading to the IL for Atlanta, has a left oblique strain, and it sucks because his last fully healthy season was 2023. That was 3 years ago. He led the MLB in strikeouts with 281 Ks that year. Dude, are the Braves just injury prone team? It seems like they can't stay healthy as a unit right now.
I mean, 2 years in a row now it's been this. I mean, my entire life I have just seen the Atlanta Braves just kill my baseball team every single year. It just the big brother little brother thing. Like the Mets were just always the Braves were just killing them. Like just you face the Braves, it was like the series I dread all the time. When they face the Braves, you just know it's not going to go well. In the last few years, it's been kind of almost flipped a little bit. Like the Braves have been a little bit the LOL Mets with not really playing good and they have all these injuries and all these guys. I mean, it's just kind of weird for them lately. It's just so weird because I said it last year, I'll say it again this year. This is probably if they're fully healthy, the second or third most talented team in all of Major League Baseball. I mean, this team, if they're healthy, wins 100 games. I don't think that really shocks anybody by any means. I mean, this team could win the World Series. They're healthy, but it does suck. I mean, I have been very down on Strider the last few years, especially ever since he got his internal brace, honestly. And it sucks to see him start the season on the IL, especially because I know he had the velo was starting to take back up. It was started out at 90 miles an hour his first start, but was slowly taking back up in spring training. But I mean, like I said before, Sprint Strider was a very fun pitcher to watch. I mean, that year, his rookie year and the year following, I mean, this guy was very, very good. He was a guy who was going to get Cy Young votes pretty much every single year if he's healthy, but he really hasn't been himself in like 3 years. Obviously, injuries have killed that, but it just kind of sucks to see, especially for Braves fans.
Yeah, I hate this news. Let's move on to Milwaukee. Some unfortunate news. Andrew Vaughn hit the IL 10 days he'll miss 4 to 6 weeks actually, but he's on the 10-day IL with a fractured hamate bone. So to replace Vaughn, Milwaukee has called up its top catching prospect Jefferson Cuero with starting catcher William Contreras and backup Gary Sanchez, both healthy. Cuero's going to play some time at DH. So this is interesting because there was a big talk about this because Cuero was a higher ranked prospect and everyone knew there was kind of a catcher logjam for the Milwaukee right now. So this is how Cuero is going to get involved, and this is going to be his first big league go of it. I'm really excited to see that. But bad for Andrew Vaughn. Also, let's talk about. Did you have something about Vaughn, or did you want to talk about Christopher Morel?
I was just gonna say real quick on with the Vaughn thing, with more with Jefferson Cuero here. I would just say too that like I think this could be the time where obviously he gets in the major league lineup here, and let's say he does kill it to start off until King Vaughn comes back. I mean, William Contreras, obviously, yes, he's the catcher there every single day, and Gary Sanchez is the backup. If he's killing it and there's enough time in the DH spot, you could just say DFA Gary Sanchez if you want. Like Gary Sanchez is not a guy that you really need to have on a roster. He's a good backup catcher, but he's not a guy like we can't let this top prospect come up and do this. I think this more kind of seems like two of, hey, let's just give this guy a shot now. Let's see what he has right now. Let's give him some time at the major league level. And then even if he does, like, even if he does struggle, like let's say he just gets overmatched in his at-bats that he has, he can take that learning experience and say, hey, this is what I need to work on. I know what big league pitching is like. I know what I need to be able to do to stay in the big league level now. Let me go back down to AAA and I can see what I need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's quickly jump to Morel for Miami. He lands on the 10-day IL with an oblique strain. Never good. So they think he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Davion De Los Santos is going to replace him on the active roster. Through 6 minor league seasons, De Los Santos has slashed 279, 332, and 476. Let's talk about my Yankees for a minute. We have to after that sweep. So Max Fried and Cam Schlittler picked up right where they left off from last season. They both looked awesome. And one thing to note, right before opening day, Luis Eel was named the odd man out. So it looks like the Yanks are going to go with a 4-man rotation to start the season. I thought this was interesting, but yeah, sucks for Luis Eel. I'm sure he'll be back up at some point. Hagen, let's talk about your Mets for a second. Just overall? How are your thoughts on the opening series here?
There's a lot. Obviously, it's early on in the season. There's some things to work on. Obviously, big thing I will say is pitchers. I think there's walking too many guys right now. I think there's just a lot of so many leadoff walks. And I know it's early on in the season. I'm not going to overreact to things there. One thing I will overreact to, though, is Luis Robert Jr. I have been very adamant this guy. I wanted this guy on my team for a very, very long time. I still think there's obviously bold prediction we're going to say in a little bit. I'll save it for then. But I'm very, very high on Luis Robert Jr. Even just his first at bat of the year, 10 pitch walk against Paul Skeens. I put out a tweet and I said, I've seen enough. Like, that's the at bat of the year. Obviously, some satire in there, but phenomenal at bat for a guy laying off pitches, for a guy who chases everything and swings and misses everything. He's looked very impressive so far. I like this new look offense. I like the tough at bats they've given. Obviously, there's been guys like Lindor has first hit today, and Bo Bichette is 1 for 14 with 8 strikeouts to start the year and already getting boos from the fans, funny enough. But I think he's going to settle in there, take some time. Guys are still trying to get their timing right and all this. But I've liked what I saw from this Mets team. It's weird. It's very, very different dynamic than the Lindor, Alonso, Nimmo team. This is the Soto, Lindor, Bichette team. And I really like this Mets team. I'm very excited for them to see what they do this year because I've been very, very happy for what I've seen so far, obviously, besides tough loss today.
Yeah, Mets, I think they will all come into their own at some point during the season. They're too talented not to. So I noticed Kimbrel didn't make the opening day roster. So you got him at some point if he does well at the minor league level. But any hope on Kimbrel?
I have no hope for Kimbrel at all. His stuff didn't look great in spring training. His results weren't great in spring training, but it also too I think he believed to stay with the organization. He had the chance to just opt out and try to find a spot on another team's bullpen and make a major league roster. But I believe he stayed with the organization. He said, "I want to be here. I feel like I have a chance to make it at some point." The only thing is, it's just hard too with these minor league deals because a guy like Kimbrel, he would come in and he'd be the last man in the bullpen, and it would probably be an injury. Probably like if there was an injury to Luke Weaver, Devin Williams, whatever it is. Then he come up. But then it's like once those guys are back, he's just going to get DFA'd, and then you can't option him. So it's a free agency, you lose him. But I guess for his sake, he could go out there. I think the way he's probably thinking is, hey, come up. If I do look really, really good, I can mainstay here in the bullpen, have someone else get sent down with an option. Or worst case, I get DFA'd and another team saw what I did and almost auditioning for himself. So I don't really plan anything on Craig Kimbrel. I think he'll definitely get some appearances and some innings in the Mets. I just don't think it'll be very many.
Yeah, he's getting old, so I don't see him getting very many either. Let's jump to the Baltimore Orioles. They have some exciting news. So Shane Baz, he was acquired from the Rays this offseason. They are finalizing a 5-year, $68 million contract extension for Shane Baz. So he's 26 years old. He finished with 133 strikeouts and a 4.92 ERA last year. Thoughts on this? A good deal for Baltimore?
I do really like this deal for Baltimore. Shane Baz, I mean, I always really liked him. I always has been a very good pitcher. He has a very high upside. He can be a very good 2, I believe, in Major League Baseball. This has just kind of been health, obviously. I think he added the cutter last year, I believe. So I think that was a good thing to his arsenal that he added with it. Helped out Bridges' pitches a little bit more. But I think this is a guy that just needs to stay healthy. I like the Orioles kind of telling him, giving him the money now and saying, hey, obviously he was an ARB1. So you buy out 3 years. Obviously, extension kicks in after next year. So you buy 3 free agent years out for a guy that everything else good. This guy could get $20 million a year, $25, $30 million a year, whatever he is. But I mean, next year he's going to get $7.8 million, then 10.8, then 21.8, 25.8. I mean, I think this is a very good deal for the Baltimore Orioles. And I really like them deciding and getting it done now and letting Baz just kind of settle in and say, hey, dude, you got your money. You don't got to stress anymore. Just stay healthy, do your thing. Don't stress about anything.
Let's jump to the Blue Jays. They've extended extended their management here. So both John Schneider and general manager Ross Atkins, both get a bump in their contracts here. So good for them. I'd like that for Toronto, kind of cementing the path going forward and building off what they got going right now. Let's jump into our MLB bus predictions for 2026. Do you want to start with pitchers or hitters?
We'll start with pitchers.
Okay, let's do it. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first here. A guy we talked about a little bit earlier too. And if you talk to me at all on Twitter at all, you'll know that this has kind of been my guy I've been out on. Obviously, the injury I didn't pick this just because he started the year on the IL, but Spencer Strider, I just haven't been liking what I see from Spencer Strider. I know the velo was ticking back up. It scared me a lot when he started 90 miles an hour his first spring training start, but I just think Strider needs another year removed from injury. I think his arm just isn't right where it needs to be the Spencer Strider again. And I'm saying this in a bust of the sense of like what Spencer Strider should be. I don't think Spencer Strider is going to be that great this year. I don't think he's going to be a guy who strikes out 200 guys and gets Cy Young votes, even if he was healthy to start the year. I just don't like where his stuff looks right now. I just think his fastball needs more life to it. And I think I'm not saying he can't be that in the future. I just think this year he just needs to almost get his innings back up and just get his arm feeling better. And going into next year, I probably feel better about him. But I'm just really out on Spencer Strider right now. And I think you can see that for the Braves too as a whole. I mean, I just been very out on the Braves, especially as a Mets fan. It's not like a Mets bias thing because the last 2 years I have bet the Braves to win the division. I have bet the Braves to win the World Series before. I mean, I normally am a very big Braves believer, but I'm just kind of out. And I think Strider's a big reason why.
Yeah, I'm out on Luis Castillo, unfortunately, for the Mariners, which pains me to say because I want the Mariners, if not the Yankees, to win the World Series. I'm a big Julio fan. I love a lot of their prospects. I got a Colt Emerson 1/1 card that I'm going to sell that's signed when he debuts. I'm super excited about that. Just everything about the Mariners I love. But Luis Castillo, the reason why I'm out on him, I'm not trying to play the ageism, but he's 33 years old. If we looking at his ERA, it's been moving, obviously creeping up more and more the last few years since back in 2022 when he was that sub 3 ERA guy. Last year to 3.54 with 162 strikeouts over 180 innings. So he's not the strikeouts aren't there as much anymore as they were. Even back in 2024, he was nine for 9 in Ks over innings. I just don't see it happening again. The batting average was up against him last year. His opposing batting average, he allowed a 244. He did have 18 quality starts. So Castillo, we know he's a super talented pitcher. I just don't buy the ADP. I think you could have gotten him a lot later in some drafts or stream him almost, and he'd just be as effective. If we're talking strictly fantasy.
I mean, I think I agree with you too. I think I was kind of out on Luis Castillo last year, and obviously kind of saved that a little bit. Didn't really pitch horribly, as I thought he was going to be, and obviously kick your baseball. We always can make these bets where it's just, hey man, we always say our argument is always Sean Manaea versus Luis Castillo, and every year it's who's going to be in both years. I mean, obviously Manaea's on rotation right now, which doesn't look good for that, but I'm with you there on the Luis Castillo one.
Let's talk hitters. I'm out on Jordan Walker, which sucks because I was so in on Jordan Walker for a long time. So Jordan Walker, I feel like when he first got debuted, he definitely had an unfair stint. They were kind of moving him up and down and all around. It felt like Jordan Walker right now, he's a career 241 hitter. He is hitting 400 to start the year. So right now, if he continues, he'll be shutting me up. But I think the Cardinals are definitely still in a rebuild, and he's part of that rebuild. But I think he's not going to perform the results that we're looking for right away. I think give him one more year after this to get a full MLB season. He played 111 games last year. He still missed 50 some odd games. He batted 215, a little banged up. He had 6 bombs. He doesn't have the power. He's not the contact guy that we're hoping for with that lack of power. Thoughts?
It's kind of hard because I love Jordan Walker. I just think he's one of those players, like those guys who have the high X velocity. You can hit the shit out of the ball and do that. They're just the very exciting players that everyone wants to watch and all this. But I don't know if I call him a bust, but it's also too. It's just he wasn't shown anything yet at the big league level. I do like that he's going to have some runway now, but I feel like he had the runway last year and then he got sent down because he wasn't performing at all. He was almost stunting his development. So I can see what you're coming for on that.
Yeah, let's hear. You got 2 here, and one of them I don't like that you have here as a bust.
One of them I feel like I had to get a little spicy with, and not okay. That one's going to be Cal Raleigh. And I'm not saying Cal Raleigh is going to be this awful baseball player this year. I'm saying Cal Raleigh is going to bust compared to the run-up MVP, almost taking the MVP away from Aaron Judge. I think that was just kind of a crazy season for Cal Raleigh. I still think Cal Raleigh is going to be the best catcher in baseball. I don't think Cal Raleigh is going to be a 10-win player again. I think he's going to be 6 or 7 win player. I think he can still be that, but Also with the defense, I just don't know if I can bank on Cal Raleigh hitting 60 home runs again. Like I think Cal Raleigh's going to hit 35, 40 home runs this year. I think his batting average probably go down a little bit, but I just think last year was one of those years you look at and you're just kind of like going to be almost an anomaly in a sense of like his WAR jumped 3 compared to every other season that he's had. So it's not really a bust. I just think relative to what we would expect from Cal Raleigh now and what he did last year, I just don't think he's be able to replicate that again. My one that I'm like completely out on, I don't think he's going to be good at all this year. O'Neal Cruz, he's one of my least favorite players in baseball. Like, and I'm not anything personal against him. He just really frustrates me. I mean, obviously he had the defensive inning against the Mets first game of the year where I don't know why you're a 27-year-old Major League Baseball and your first instinct on a line drive to you is going to take 3 steps in. Teach you that when you're 15 years old. So I don't know what that really was. He's not great defensively center fielder. He's not horrible, I wouldn't say. But my thing with him is he just always, I know he's going to hit the ball harder than anyone in Major League Baseball. He can hit the ball 125 miles an hour. He has the record for hardest hit ball ever. But he's so exciting. He has all the tools. But it's every year everyone's like, this could be year. This could be the year. This year. Every year I feel like I'm always the opposite, saying this is not the year for O'Neal Cruz. I'm just not a big O'Neal Cruz believer. I just think he's a lazy ball player too. Like I just kind of watched him like he takes 3 steps in on a line drive with bases loaded, 1 out, and then you just jog back to the ball, and you're just kind of it goes over your head, just gonna jog back. I mean, dude, sprint. Like you made a mistake a 15-year-old shouldn't be making. I know line drive is the hardest ball hit to you there, but freeze on that. Do not take 3 steps in. I mean, I know it's one play and I'm overreacting to that, but I'm just very out on O'Neal Cruz, especially with the bat. I just think he whiffs too much. I've just never really been an O'Neal Cruz guy.
Yeah, neither have I, honestly. I don't know. It might have been that he like came off lanky, and I just judged him for that. But yeah, he's obviously got he's obviously got a lot of talent. It just like, is he as good as the tools all combined show? And there's always that conversation with players. If the tools represent the player and vice versa, do the player represent the tools? Let's talk about any bold predictions for 2026? I didn't write any down. I have one that I think is a little spicy, but do you want to go first? Do you have any?
I have 2 pretty bold ones that I like.
Okay, I'm going to write them down here.
My first one is that Luis Robert goes 35-35 and gets MVP votes this year. I'm selling out on Luis Robert being very good this year. I think I've talked about in the last 3 episodes on how much I like him, have him to be on the Mets. I think he's going to play. I think the only reason why that he wouldn't get this, like I feel, is health. Obviously, that's the big thing. He's got to stay healthy. That's been a big issue for him in the past. I know he's got to stay healthy now. The Mets worked with him getting his lower half ready. They delayed him 3 weeks in spring training because they said, hey, you need to get stronger in the lower half to last the full season. Mets manager came out and said, I don't want this guy playing 3 or 4 days in a row. We're going to give him off days so we can stay healthy throughout the year. They're being very careful with him this year. I like that. You're in a lineup where you got to pitch to somebody. He's hitting behind Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Bo Bichette, and Jorge Polanco. Behind him is Brett Baty and Carson Bench. I mean, you have to pitch to him at some point. I mean, I just really am all in on Luis Robert this year. I'm willing to be wrong too. Like this, I'm selling out on this guy. I'm very happy, and I think he can be an MVP caliber player again.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that Cam Schlittler finishes top 5 in the Cy Young.
That is spicy. That is spicy, but I like it.
I think he's been that good. Like Cam Schlittler last year was a dog, and he came right back and delivered. He was on innings limitations the other day. He went 5 1/3, 8 Ks, got the win, 0 ERA, 0.19 WHIP. I think they're gonna just unload this guy, and if he gets enough innings, I think he's going to be right there. And if you think about the American League, you got plenty of opportunities on Seattle alone, but I don't see anyone besides Hunter Brown on Houston. The Angels, I don't think have anyone who's going to be up there. You look at Toronto, it's like Cease, Garrett Crochet for Boston, maybe his teammate Freed, but I feel like the bigger names, even obviously I'm missing Scooball. That's the big one. There are some really good guys, but that doesn't mean that Cam Schlittler can't finish top 5. So should I switch it to top 7, or am I a bitch if I do that?
I don't think you're a bitch if you do that. I mean, there's a lot of talented pitchers. I mean, a guy like was even named Brian Wu, Logan Gilbert. 7. I think top 7's still spicy. I mean,
yeah, that's good.
We forget this guy was still very young in Major League Baseball. Doesn't have that many starts under his belt.
Yeah. Anything else for you that you think is going to happen? Maybe let's not pick something of our New York teams because we both picked the Mets Yankees prediction here.
I do have one that is not a New York team,
Okay.
and this one I feel a lot more better. I mean, the Luis Robert one was a little spicy. The Atlanta Braves missed the postseason. I think they missed postseason by 5 games. I don't think they're going to be that good of a team this year. I don't think. I like you can say like you can even say I'll even add to it. I think they finished fourth in the division this year. I think my Marlins are going to be ahead of them in the division. I think they're going to be a lot better than people think. And I think the Mets and the Phillies are going to be the top 2 teams. A little bit of gap in the Marlins, and then Atlanta Braves right by them. But I think the Marlins outlast them. I think the Marlins are a very good team. Their pitching clears the Braves by far.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm like thinking of one now. Let's do this. You know what? I'm going to say Owen Casey has north of 30 bombs.
That one's pretty spicy too.
He's already got one. He's 1/30th of the way there, baby.
Hey, he's on pace. He's on pace for sure.
He's on pace. That's a spicy one, but I really like Owen Casey. Okay, let's talk about some of the facts and last takes this episode as we are already 46 minutes in, Hagen. So let's try and run through some of these. Opening day ticket price. I thought this was interesting. The high for get in price, like in terms of the get in price to the game, the high was $196, meaning it cost you minimum almost $200 to get into the game for Dodgers opening day. And the low, meaning it took you only $19 to get in, was the Angels and the Marlins. So you see why the Dodgers, they got some fans that'll pay some big money. They're making some money over there. $200 to get in the stadium per person. How much do you think the average consumer spends at a game too? $55 on average.
I mean, it's gonna be up from the Dodgers. I mean, I was at the Dodgers game 2 years ago, and I think a Dodger dog and like a drink was like $20. It's pretty expensive. I saw the other day, like the beer price. If you want to draft beer at the Dodgers game this year, $18.
That's nuts. That's so nuts. It's like these people force us to pregame the games. They're forcing us. They're taking our hands behind our backs and forcing us to do it. Milwaukee, 25, the number 25. That's the number of swing and misses that Jacob Misiorowski had in his start this week. He had 5 more than any other pitcher when this came out. He had 11 total strikeouts against the White Sox. It was a new franchise record for strikeouts on opening day. And 4 relievers who followed him ran all the way up to 20 total strikeouts. So the White Sox struck out 20 times against the Brewers in a 14-2 loss at American Family Field, tying the modern Major League record for strikeouts in any 9-inning game since at least 1900. It's insane.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I thought earlier I didn't even see the whiffs that Misiorowski had. I told you earlier I thought Cease had it by at least 5, and that was 24. I mean, I did not even realize Miz had this many. I knew he had the strikeouts, but
I think Cease pitched. Did Cease do opening day for Toronto, or was it Gausman?
No, he pitched yesterday, so this was day before.
This was I recorded the stats, so he was right below Misiorowski, but still Cease and Misiorowski, very impressive numbers, 24 and 25 whiffs.
I mean, you don't see that every single day, like I said earlier. I mean, with Misiorowski too, we know that like this guy can throw 102 and get the most extension more than anyone in baseball. The receiver velocity is going to be 104, 105 miles an hour. I mean, that's pretty nuts. And he can throw 95-mile-per-hour sliders that are going back foot on you. I mean, you're going to generate a lot of whiffs doing so. I mean, his only issue is just could he be at the strike zone? And obviously, he was enough today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad I invested in Misiorowski in pretty much all of my leagues. I have him. I'm very excited about that. Some, late post WBC news. Obviously, it's been over for a little bit, and opening days come and gone now. 2 cool things though from the WBC this year. Team Italy's espresso machine it sold at auction after being used as a home run celebration for $16,510. Thought that was awesome. That's a great. If you have the money for that, that is an awesome item to have in baseball history. It's Team Italy's espresso machine.
I mean, that's gonna be a relic. Like you go to your friend's house in 20 years. So hey, look what my dad has. He has this espresso machine from the WBC that you're all taking espresso shots out of. And even better too. I mean, I don't know if you saw this, but Vinny Pasquantino put a tweet about this. All the proceeds they got from selling out the $16,000, they gave it to charity, which I think is awesome.
Yeah. Shohei Otani's WBC jersey sold for $1.5 million. It's crazy because like Japan didn't even win or come close to winning the WBC, uh, which this was the world record at auction, according to ESPN's Dan Hajducky. 1.5 million was the final price after 298 bids. It was the most paid for an Otani jersey at auction. That's crazy. They didn't even win, and he got almost almost 2 million. He got $1.5 million for this jersey. I'm sure he donated it.
I mean, that's what happens when you're the best player to ever play a sport, just most talented player ever. You're gonna go down as the GOAT probably, and he's also probably a top 10, top 5 most popular person on the planet right now. I mean, think about how popular Shohei Otani is in America. He is literally God in Japan. He's everywhere. I had friends who went to Japan a few months ago, and they said, you cannot go anywhere without seeing Shohei Otani's face.
Wild, dude. It's wild. Baltimore's Tyler O'Neill opening day streak ends. So after a 6-year stretch of hitting at least one home run on opening day, O'Neill did not go deep in this year's opener. So this is a streak that, I don't know if we'll ever see anyone break six opening days in a row to hit a bomb. So really wild. Baseball is crazy like that and weird. And sad to see that streak go. That was one that I was definitely rooting for to see continue.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those ones that's just kind of fun to track every year. I think people know coming in. I think it's probably the only day of the year you'll probably look and Tyler O'Neill will be, why is this home run at plus 180? Why is it not at plus 300, plus 400? I mean, just every single person is betting on Tyler O'Neill on opening day to hit a home run.
Yeah. Another crazy stat from opening day that I saw from The Athletic. Juan Duran became the first Phillies pitcher ever to record a save at home on opening day. The save has existed since 1969. So since 1969, the Phillies have never recorded a save on opening day.
That is insane. I mean,
that's wild.
I don't care if you've been the worst team in the league for every single year since then. That's still insane. Like that, I don't even know how that's even possible.
Yeah. Weird stuff. Another thing going on with the Phillies and our closeout here. Alec Baum, he's now suing his parents, or sued his parents for $3 million in damages, alleging they defrauded him while managing his finances. This is really interesting news. I don't want to dive into it because this is like, we don't know what we don't know about the story, but I'm bringing it up because it's like, this is just something that people have to deal with. Like, these are family members. And like, if he's claiming this, like, and there's some validity to it, you see the other side of it, like where parents take advantage of their kids who are athletes here, if this is true. So did you see anything about the story?
No, actually, I haven't heard anything at all. I mean, this is the first time it's brought to my attention, but obviously it does suck to see. It's not like this guy's, I know he's making really good money. He's a major league player and he's about to hit for agency, but he was making $780,000 a year for 3 years. And then he's an arb. I think he's $3 million to him. That's a lot of money. Obviously, it's not that any person, $3 million is a lot of money. But if you just take to what his career earnings are, that's a pretty significant chunk of money.
Yeah, he's saying his parents use limited liability companies to funnel money from his personal financial accounts, which they then converted to their own use. And this is being reported right now by the Inquirer, and I'm sure I could find other stuff on this, but the New York Times has a piece on this. So same with the LA Times and Forbes and USA Today. So it's being covered all over the place. That was just like a highlight line I saw about this, but this is really upsetting stuff. You hate to see that, but anything else you want to talk about from opening day and the news and excitement of this weekend being finally back in baseball season?
Yes, I do want to shout out Heliot Ramos, the San Francisco Giants, the opening day left fielder. And the reason why I say the opening day left fielder is because one of my favorite baseball stats to track every single year, I think most baseball fans kind of know this, is ever since Barry Bonds retired, I believe since 2005 until 2025, they had a streak. They never had the same opening day left fielder 2 years in a row. It was a different left fielder every single year. And Heliot Ramos just broke that streak. First Giants left fielder to start back-to-back opening days since Barry Bonds was still playing baseball. One of the best baseball stats of all time has finally come to an end.
I did see that. You know what? You know what? Let's end the episode on a good note. So, did you hear this Barry Bonds story on the stream? What he was talking about? How he
I
was
didn't.
almost
I wasn't able to watch it much.
so Barry Bonds has a conversation. Anyone who knows what I'm talking about, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Where he talks about how he was almost a Yankee. So, he back when he was up for a contract, I guess he was on the phone with George Steinbrenner, and George Steinbrenner gave him a deadline of like when he has to sign. I think he hung up on him, and then he got a deal done with the Giants like in the next day or so. But uh Barry Bonds was like pissed at the Giants that they weren't offering a contract, I guess, and like just go listen to it. But it would have been crazy if Barry Bonds came to the Yankees when he did. But and I also heard, I think I was listening to John Boy, if I heard this correctly, that George Steinbrenner, I didn't know this, he was suspended or he was like on leave with the MLB, so he wasn't even legally allowed to talk to Barry Bonds at the time. If I'm citing the story correctly, but and by citing the story, you mean regurgitating it correctly here. But yeah, go watch it. It's wild.
I mean, that's pretty crazy, actually. I mean, just imagining too Barry Bonds, just how good he was. I mean, that's the best peak we've ever seen from a baseball player. Take that and you take about how good the Yankees teams were in that time that he would have been playing for him. That would have been pretty nuts.
Yeah, um, for sure, for sure. So I'm just looking for one thing real quick. Yeah, it said the Yankees, Steinberg on the phone, and they called and told me, Barry, we're going to give you the money and make you the highest paid player, but you have to sign the contract by 2 p.m. this afternoon. So Bonds did not like that. He said, and excuse me, and just hung up the phone because he didn't like the ultimatum. And um, could have been a Yankee highest paid player at the time. It would have been wild to see. But I'm glad that this story is finally out there. Some more Barry Bonds history that's not terrible PED news. But that's it for me. You got anything else, or am I good to close out here?
You're all good to close out.
Thank you for listening. Follow us on social media. Rate us 5 stars if you think we deserve it. There's plenty of articles that went out this week. I know Dean did a Red Sox versus Reds review. I did a top 15 MLB lineups piece. Dean did a bold prediction for all 30 MLB teams. Greg did 3 hitters who had an impressive spring. Go check all those out. So all fresh content out this week. And that's it for the Skipper's View. Peace.